Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, helping you to live in tune with the natural cycles of the moon. This is your astrology horoscope for the new moon in Scorpio, which occurs on Thursday, November 4th, 2021 at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, what I think is going on at this new moon is that we are really going deep, I would say, inside our soul to overcome any fears and insecurities that have been keeping us stuck, especially for a long time, from entering some new and better chapter in life, so that we can finally get rid of those fears and insecurities and emerge at this new moon more fully in our power and strength, and more fully ready and capable to make any more moves that it is that we need to pursue our happiness and improve our lives for the better. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. If you want to hear more about that, stay tuned, because I'm going to hop into it right now. In order to start talking about it, though, what I like to do first is to place the new moon on the chart so that you can understand it better, see what I'm talking about, and follow along with me. So let's do that now. This video is for the new moon in Scorpio. The new moon is, of course, about the sun and the moon when they come together. And so here it is on the chart. We've got the sun here and the moon both at the same degree, 12 degrees, in the same sign of Scorpio. Okay, that's what the new moon is. What are new moons all about? Well, new moons are all about new beginnings, new energy, if you will, and fresh starts in some way. Not only are new moons about that, but I also do consider them a time of preparation as well, since it's the very first part of the lunar month and of the lunar cycle. Okay, what are we getting? A new boost, some kind of new fresh energy in, or preparing to do? Well, Scorpio. What is Scorpio all about? Well, Scorpio, to me, is about quite a few things. One of them is about our emotions, with it being a water sign, especially some of our deep subconscious emotions, with Scorpio being ruled by Pluto. And subconscious emotions typically are not that pleasant, I should note. So I think there's a lot of that's going on here at this new moon. We're getting a fresh start to deal with some unpleasant subconscious emotions here that have been keeping us stuck, so that we can prepare to work with them a bit better, and I think a bit more healthy, in a more healthy way as we move forward. Okay, not only is Scorpio about that, but it is also about personal, internal change and transformation as well. Again, being correlated to Pluto and being the sign of the Phoenix, rising from the ashes. So not only is this new moon about us just getting a new start with some deep subconscious emotional baggage, I would say, from the past, that we can work with that differently and better, but I think it's also about us transforming deeply as individuals as a result of us starting to work through some of this emotional baggage that we may have. Okay, not only that, but Scorpio is also, too, about our own personal power and strength as well. So again, not only is this new moon to continue bringing it all together about us getting a new start with how we deal with uncomfortable subconscious emotions, so that we can really change and transform those things and ourselves, but we're getting a new start once we've done all that to step more into our personal power and our strength. And I think more so than we have in a very, very, very long time as we move forward. Okay. Not only that, but Scorpio to me is also about change, not just internally, but also externally as well. In particular with relationships, because Scorpio is a relationship sign, being on this side of the zodiac here, and also with money as well. So not only are there a whole bunch of personal implications of this new moon, dealing with our subconscious emotions, overcoming those, transforming those, and stepping more into our power, but there's also external implications as well about this new moon, where we're getting more of a fresh start to change our external reality as well, with relationships and money to be better, especially now that internally we are changing as well, so that the two can kind of match each other as we move forward. And I should note, we're planning to change our relationships and money for the better to be more what Scorpio has to do with our deepest wants and our deepest desires being correlated to our sexual organs, so that we can feel more connected to life and really more in alignment with a lot of things that are important to us as we move forward. Okay, so I think that they're the main themes for the time being. But before I move forward to tell you more of the specifics about this theme and about how this new moon is going to play out, I do, always like to go backwards before going forwards, just to give you a little bit more of the context of this new moon and how we got here and of why this is now a thing or a theme that's coming up to be explored, worked through, or experienced. And to go back in time, I'm going to go back to that last solar eclipse, which was a new moon right about here in Gemini in June of this year, 2021. Okay, I want to go back to that because solar eclipses start cycles for at least 6 months, super top of mind, but for even many years, months and years after they occur. So I want to go back to that. What was that about? Well, Gemini is a lot about settling into something and making something more familiar. And what I think we were settling into and making more familiar was some new, different, and better chapter in life that we'd been trying to get to for quite some time. So that's to me what happened in June of 2021. And I do think that we were fairly successful at that, settling into some new chapter in life that recently had started to arrive. That then leads us to the next new moon, which we've been right about here a month later in July of 2021 in Cancer. What is that about? Well, Cancer is a lot about grounding things in our foundation in life. So I think in July of this year, we then tried to take this new chapter in life that had recently arrived that we were getting more familiar with and ground it so that it can become more secure, more solid, with more of a foundation and last more of the test of time. And I do believe that we were able to do that. That then leads us to the next new moon, which we had here in August of this year in Leo. What was that about? Well, Leo is a lot about happiness. It's a lot about joy. It's a lot about power. Power to Scorpio is as well, but Leo does in some way too. And so I think what happened in August is that we said, you know what? I'm in a new chapter in life that's here. I'm making it more familiar. I'm grounding it. Now, how can I be truly happy and truly in love and truly joyful in this new space of life that's recently arrived? And we did a lot of thinking about that. And I do believe that throughout that lunar month of the new moon in Leo, we came up with some great ideas and got some great realizations and insights about what would truly resonate with our heart that we wanted to do more of in life from here on out, now that we're in a different place and a different experience. Okay, that then leads me to the next new moon, which happened a month later here in Virgo in the month of September of 2021. What is that about? Well, Virgo is about our habits and it's about our daily routines. So what I think was going on in September is that we tried to take these happy insights that we got about what would make us truly love our lives, and we tried to do them on the day-to-day more regularly in a more habitual kind of way, so that these happy things in a new life don't just stay in our mind, but so they become more manifest in the physical reality, especially with Virgo here being an earth sign. And I do believe that as we tried to do that throughout that lunar month of Virgo and the month of September, we had difficulties fully doing happy things on the day-to-day. I believe that we had difficulties because of pesky Mercury going retrograde here throughout that month in the sign of Libra. What were our difficulties? Well, our difficulties were Libra matters because Mercury was going retrograde in the sign of Libra, which is what? Relationships. It was hard for us to do more of what makes us happy on the day-to-day because relationships were blocking us, or because we were worried about upsetting relationships in order to do more of what we wanted. Not only was that part of the issue, but Libra is also about balance. And I'm using the word here more specifically, our division of time and resources. So not only were our relationships preventing us from being happy in a new space of life and doing that more regularly, but also the way we were dividing our time and resources was off, where we were prioritizing more hard, stressful stuff of the past few years instead of the happier stuff that we now realize that we wanted to do. So that was also a thing that needed to be fixed. Not only that, but with Libra being an air sign, our mindset was also a little off as well. Our mind was still stuck in these old stressful mindsets of responsibility instead of the fun stuff too. That was a bit hard, preventing us from really moving forward in the way that we might have liked. Because those blockages came up, we then, at the next new moon, which was in Libra last month here in October of this year, then realized we need to fix those things, because this new moon in Libra was conjunct kind of closely that Mercury retrograde. So we realize in October, I now need to fix. I need to fix what's not right with my relationships and what's not right with my division of time and resources and what's not right with my mindset so that I can pursue more of this happiness that it is that I've been wanting to do in this new space of life as we move forward. And I do believe that throughout the lunar month of Libra, new moon in Libra, we were able to do that. We were able to fix these things, preventing us from being happy in life and from being happy on the day to day and from being happy with other people and from being happy on a regular basis. And because of that, we now get here to the new moon in Scorpio, of which this video is for, in November. And we now are dealing with any subconscious emotion still preventing us from accepting this happier place in life that we're now in. And we're overcoming those subconscious emotions so that we can truly be happier and embody happiness on a regular basis in our lives in a new space and make changes to get even more things, new things that are going to make us happy with relationships and money in particular that we really want and that are more in alignment now with a more empowered self as we move forward. Okay, so that's it. That's all that I want to say there about the context. Maybe I'll just repeat that one more time before we move forward because that was a lot. So let me do that now. What I think is going on, the big picture of this new moon in Scorpio, is that we finally have a chance to be happy in a new space in life and to create more things in life that we actually truly want and desire and connect with and that are in alignment with our heart and soul in some way. And as a result, we are dealing with the last few bits of subconscious stuff keeping us stuck. And we're starting to figure out more of what changes we need to make in order to bring all of that together. Okay. And that's it. Because that's it, I'm now just going to go into a little bit more detail about this lunar month in particular and about, not the month itself. I do that on my website. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail just about this new moon, which is a shorter period of time in particular and what's going on here and how it's going to play out. So let me do that now. What I want to start with some of the specific aspects that this new moon is making. And I think I'm going to start with the more challenging ones because I think it could be, this new moon could start a little bit challenging. So let's do that. I think the first alignment I want to mention is this new moon here being kind of conjunct Mars. Okay. I know that this is a bit far, right? This is about what, 10 degrees away. And that may be a little too wide of an orb for some of you, but you have to realize these planets are in motion and Mars is eventually going to hit the sun and all this other stuff. So I'm going to count it here as to what I think is going on. The new moon is in a conjunction with Mars. What is this about? Well, Mars to me kind of pushes things, being the planet, of action in a lot of ways. It kind of pushes things here to really force us to kind of take a look at things and what's going on. And Mars is in Scorpio, which this new moon is, which is a lot about, again, our deep subconscious emotional habits and patterns, especially the not so pleasant ones that have been keeping us stuck. So what I think is going on here, especially at the beginning, the earlier parts of this new moon, before it happens or right around the time it happens, is that we are really going deep. I don't think anyone else is pushing us. I think we're kind of pushing ourselves to go deep within our own soul, our own emotions, to really figure out what are our subconscious habits and patterns still preventing us from moving forward and being happy, and what subconscious habits and patterns are still stuck in fear, insecurity, and self-sabotage, and low self-esteem and lack of self-worth as we move forward here. Okay. Because the moon doesn't really care to be in Scorpio here where the new moon is, and Mars is kind of pushing things, I should note this could feel a bit uncomfortable. It could feel really uncomfortable for us to instinctually be going so deep to take a look, honestly, at our issues and our blockages and what it is that they truly are, especially because Mars can push a little too hard sometimes and be a little bit overwhelming. Not only is that a bit of the challenge here, but this new moon is also in a bit of a square here with Saturn as well. And so is Mars right here. And that's also a bit of a hard thing. I would say even harder than the Mars stuff because it is a square here and because Saturn is a planet of restriction in a lot of ways. What is the difficulty with this? Well, because we're still dealing, I should say, with our subconscious emotions and habits and blockages and insecurities and fears that are really keeping us stuck from stepping into our power and our confidence and doing more of what we need in life to be empowered. I think this is also making us feel a bit restricted and a bit stuck. Not only is it making us feel a bit restricted and stuck, but it's also making us, I think, a bit uncertain about what our next steps are. Because Saturn is a lot about where our life is going, our life direction. And Aquarius is a lot about our future, too, our future steps, what we want next in life. So I think there's a bit of that going on. We're really trying, maybe just to repeat that one more time, we're really trying to step into our power here and to be happier in life, but there's still some subconscious things that are blocking us that we're trying to get to the bottom of to really figure out. That's very intense emotionally and very overwhelming. And because we're still trying to get rid of the subconscious blockages and we haven't done it yet, we're feeling restricted, we're feeling blocked, just in general, and we're feeling restricted and blocked about our next steps in life. We don't know what those are, and we won't be able to know for sure what those are until these emotional things are dealt with and figured out. Okay. Not only is this a bit difficult too, but this new moon is in a quincunx over here to Chiron, and Aries, a quincunx to me too is also a bit of a challenging alignment here as well between planets and signs that don't see eye to eye. What is the challenge here? Well, Aries is about actually taking action to be in our power and to get what we want and to make changes with relationships and money. And there's this feeling here we can't, especially because again, the quincunx is hard and Chiron is difficult. We feel like we can't take action. We're stuck because there's still some subconscious emotional blockage that is holding us back for as much work as we've done in the past and for as close as we are to moving forward past some of these things here in some way. All right. And that could leave us, I should note, especially with Mercury at the last degrees of Libra at this time, thinking things through, us constantly in the mind thinking, and with Venus at the last degree of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius being a philosophical sign, really thinking and trying to make sense of why am I like this? Why am I starting to have a real chance in my life to be happy, but like I still have some weird subconscious fears, make this make sense. Like, what does this mean? So I think there's a lot of that going on here. Feeling so close to personal power and happiness and being able to make changes in our life for the better, but still having some subconscious emotions that are keeping us stuck, preventing us from taking action, preventing us from seeing clearly, preventing us from seeing a future that we're really trying to think about, understand better, make sense of, so that we can overcome them here. Okay, that is a bit hard. Okay, but even though that is a bit hard, there are some really beautiful things going on here at this new moon in Scorpio, which I'm going to talk about now. And that's this new moon in Scorpio here making an opposition to Uranus in Taurus. Okay, this to me I really do like, because it is what's considered a bit of a mutual reception here between the moon in Scorpio and Uranus and Taurus. A mutual reception is when you get two planets and two signs that don't like to be where they are, that are making a significant aspect to each other, but prefer to be in the sign that the other is in. So in this case, the moon doesn't like to be in Scorpio. It just doesn't do that well there. It prefers to be in Taurus. The moon is exalted in Taurus, and Uranus doesn't like to be in Taurus. It just can't do what it wants to do there. It wants to be in Scorpio where it's exalted. Uranus is exalted in Scorpio. So the moon and Uranus start to work together and say, hey, you don't like where you are. I don't like where I am. This is not fun. Well, let's work together in a very, very good way here. So this to me is very positive. Not only is this very positive, but it's very positive in a sudden and an unexpected way, because Uranus is involved, which is the planet of the sudden and the unexpected. Okay. What sudden and unexpected good thing is this? It could be an event, I suppose, but with it being a new moon, and new moons to me are more internal, full moons are more external for doing things in your external reality. So because this is a new moon and new moons are more internal, this to me is a good, sudden and unexpected thought, or a good and sudden and unexpected feeling that we may have ourselves. What good, sudden and unexpected thought or feeling is this that could come out of nowhere, out of the blue? This could be a good and sudden unexpected thought or feeling that helps us to finally figure out these subconscious fears and habits that have been keeping us playing small and that have been keeping us stuck and that have been holding us back. I think it's a good unexpected feeling or emotion that really helps us make sense of all this hard stuff from the past and to overcome it and to be more confident. Taurus is a lot about confidence in where we are now and in what we've worked through in the past and in what we can achieve from here on out as we move forward. And to be more confident too, with Taurus having to do with our skills, talents, and abilities, to be more confident now in our abilities to make better situations manifest in our lives without this old stuff bringing us down, so that we can more fully rise from the ashes, be the phoenix rising with the Scorpio stuff and step more into our power. Okay, so very, very good. We started out this new moon, intense, deep emotions, subconscious habits and patterns still keeping us stuck, frustrated, don't know what to do next, can't move. And then suddenly and unexpectedly, out of nowhere, we conquer those demons. We conquer those demons, the internal demons, and we get the better perspective on it that we need in order to feel more empowered. Okay, I love it. Not only is this about that, but again, with Uranus being insights, Uranus being, to me, Uranus correlates to Aquarius, and Aquarius is a lot about revolutionary insights about what's next. I think this also gives us, to this alignment, not only sudden and unexpected good feelings about our own power and strength to help us overcome subconscious patterns, but I think it gives us suddenly and unexpectedly insights about what to do next, about what we want to change next with the Scorpio influence, now that we're feeling more in our power, about what we want to change next externally with relationship Scorpio and with money Scorpio, in order to bring more things together as well. We get insights about how to do that. Are we doing it quite? Are we acting on these insights quite yet? Again, if you ask me, that's another week or two away. You got to wait till the first quarter moon, and then the full moon is the opportune time for that. So I don't think we're acting quite yet, but we are getting a lot of amazing thoughts about our own power and about how we want to wield that power positively in the next few weeks, especially to get closer to a lunar eclipse season here, in order to create even better, happier situations for ourselves personally and with relationships and with money that I really, 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 I should note, enjoy here. Enjoy a lot. Okay. That then leads me to, I think, the next alignment that I want to mention too, which is going to be this new moon also making a square over here to Jupiter in Aquarius. Again, I know this might be kind of far for some of you. It's about 10 degrees far in orb, but I'm going to count it again because the planets are in motion here, because the first quarter moon is going to be right on top of Jupiter, about 2 or 3 degrees away. So I'm going to count this. This to me is also a very good thing because Jupiter, I tend to think of Jupiter as the planet of gifts, good luck, wisdom, understanding, and of optimism and a passion, being correlated to the sign here of Sagittarius, where we're about to have a solar eclipse in a month from now. So this too, I also like. What is this about? Well, Jupiter, I think this is also giving us more wisdom and understanding about our deepest desires, about what we want, about what's important to us, especially now that we're getting some unexpected strength and clarity about our next steps. Not only is this giving us a lot of wisdom and understanding about what we want next and about ourselves, but I think it's also bringing more optimism, more hope, more passion, more faith that tomorrow is going to be a better day and that the future is going to be better than the past, especially with the Aquarius influence here. And that we can start to bring things more together in our lives over the course of the next few weeks and months, I think, in a much better way than we have here in the past. That I really do like, which gets us, I think, seeing new possibilities for our future and new opportunities as well, and starts to open up some more positive doors for thoughts to ourselves and conversations with other people over the course of the next few days, with, of course, Mercury as well in Libra, making a sextile to Venus here at the last degree of Sagittarius, which it will continue to do as both of these planets change signs very soon. Okay, and I think that's it. I think that's all that I want to mention here. Because that's it, I'm just going to repeat all those things one more time. I do like to do that without the astrological jargon so that you can get a better sense of what I think is going on here. So let me do that now. What I think is going on at this new moon in Scorpio is that we are really trying here to step into our personal power in life and to be happier and to create better circumstances for ourselves that are more in alignment with our soul from here on out. But even though we are trying to do that, there are still some subconscious habits and subconscious patterns from an old chapter in life, self-sabotage, insecurity, feelings of not being worthy that are still bringing us down, that are still preventing us from tapping into this power and from moving forward, which can be quite hard and make us feel stuck and feel restricted and make us uncertain of our next steps in some way and not sure of what to do as we move forward. And I suppose I should say a bit anxious and nervous. But even though we're feeling kind of bad at the beginning of this time period, this new moon, about these subconscious habits and patterns, I think something suddenly and unexpectedly just clicks out of nowhere within our soul that helps us to actually fight these demons, fight these old demons once and for all that have been bringing us down here, and to rise above the subconscious habits, patterns of the past that have been keeping us stuck, and to access more of this power that we originally wanted, and to be more confident in ourselves and our abilities here to move forward and make good things manifest. Because we're suddenly and unexpectedly believing more in ourselves and our power and kicking these old demons, we then also get some sudden and unexpected insights about what we want next in life that will make us happy, and about what more changes we need to make, especially with relationships and money over the course of the next few weeks, and how exactly to go for more of these things as we move on, and us getting the clarity about our own power and the clarity about what we want next and about how more to get it with relationships and money, then gives us a lot of passion and a lot of excitement about what's going to be next for our lives and about what is now possible for ourselves. And not only does it give us a lot of passion and a lot of excitement, but I think it also gets our mind going to a lot more as well, in a much better way, to really think more things through and get even more things straight about what we want and how to pursue it as we move forward. Okay. And I think that's it. I don't really know if I have too much else to add. I think that pretty much covers it. But if I wanted to say just something else, I think that this new moon in Scorpio really is about us finally rising above the fears and the insecurities and the self-sabotage that has plagued us for so long, especially for most of this year, so that we can finally step into our own personal power and strength and truly embody it. And embody it in all aspects of the word, embody it within our soul, but also embody it too more fully with relationships and money, so that we don't feel like we're giving our power away or selling ourselves short. So I do like it, even though there's a little bit of a rough patch that could occur in the days leading up to this new moon or at the beginning of it. I think on the whole, it's so beautiful here to really help us feel much better, and even to get more things moving in our lives. I should note a little bit more quickly and on a much better trajectory, especially now that a bunch of planets have recently gone direct. Okay. Anything else that I want to say? Yeah, there's one other thing that I want to note too, maybe just to give you a little bit of a larger context of what's going on here as well, because I think that this is important, especially too, because this new moon is really the start of eclipse season, since the next full moon 2 weeks from now is a lunar eclipse, and then the next new moon 4 weeks from now is a solar eclipse. So I want to give a little bit of a context here too, to kind of zoom out a bit. And I want to zoom out a bit to the last solar eclipse a year ago now, which was in Sagittarius in December of 2020. For those of you who followed me in December of 2020 and watched my videos then, I did say that in December of 2020, we were entering a new, better chapter of life, very different from anything that we had really experienced, I think, prior to that point, especially in the past 20 to 35 years prior to December of last year. And I think that in between December of last year, maybe I'll write it on the chart, December of 2020 and now, we've been trying to step into this new chapter in life and really embrace it and embody it. But I think it's been hard for us to step into this new chapter in life more fully, because we've had fears and insecurities. If you listen to a lot of my horoscopes from January of this year, especially, and from February of this year, and possibly even a little bit in March, there were a lot of anxieties about a new chapter in life. And there was a lot of us holding ourselves back. And there was a lot of old stuff that we were afraid to cut out because we weren't in our power, that wasn't being cut out. And I do believe that this new moon in Scorpio, of which this video is for, gets rid of all those issues, really gets rid of all those issues about why a new chapter in life was kind of here, but not really here, and why it was here, but we're scared, and there's still some things in our life. It gets rid of all of those issues once and for all, that particular set of issues, keeping us from the new chapter in life, so that now we can embody it more fully. So now that we can embody a new and better chapter in life that I've been talking about for the past year or so, and actually start to live it in every sense of the word, not just personally, but again, relationships and money as well, as we move forward. Okay. Because these fears and insecurities, I should note, that we've had over the course of the past few months have been keeping the new chapter in life delayed, or have been keeping the new chapter in life stuck, or we've only been doing the new chapter in life half and half, like half new, half old, because we're scared of like what it's going to be. And so I think, again, that gets fixed. No more fears to the new chapter in life, no more blocks, no more half new chapter, half not, no kind of new chapter. Now we allow ourselves to dive in deep, to go fully in, and to also seal the deal. Scorpio doesn't do anything halfway. It's a fixed sign, especially too with its square Saturn, and Aquarius, a fixed sign. Doesn't do anything halfway. So I think now we're finally able to seal the deal on this new chapter in life, and to bring everything together. And not only to bring everything together, I should note, but the important things together. Because you know what happens when you're afraid of your own power and of your own strength and of a new chapter in life? You do some things, but not all things. And the things that you do are not the real things you want to be doing, or not the real important things. They're maybe just like things you feel safe doing at the moment, things you feel comfortable doing at the moment. So I think that that's another point too. Kind of sounds similar to what I've been saying, but is a little bit different, I think, and related, is that not only is this new moon in Scorpio here going to kick all the hesitations and all the blockages and all the fears that have been keeping us from more fully embracing a new chapter in life, but it's going to help us to finally, in the next few weeks, do the real things, the real important things that mean the most to our heart and the most to our soul, and to move more towards those, and to get those regardless of the outcome, but to take the risk in order to make those things happen as we move forward. In order for them to work, which I do really like a lot. Okay, what that also means to me, I should say, just to circle back on the horoscopes I did at this time last year, right? Because those to me were very significant, and that was also eclipse season, which is related now to the eclipses that we're coming up to. If you watched my video from December of last year, I said something about how December of 2020, the 6 months after that, to June of 2021, a lot of things were going to change in our lives very quickly for the better. And I will say this, I think that that's true for some people. I think that's true. That was true. What I said then, if you watched that video and you heard me say it, I think that was true for some people, and especially for some people who had a lot of work to do, who had a lot of things in their life that needed to be changed, that weren't right, that weren't in a good place. I think that was true for some people, but I don't think for everyone it was true that everything changed in their life super quickly because of these fears, insecurities, and etc. Self-sabotage that was really the subject of so many of my horoscopes over the past few months. So what that means to me is that I think I don't want to get myself in trouble again, but I think that what that means to me is that statement that I made about how things were going to change very quickly from December 2020 to June of 2021 in the next 6 months, right? That was a 6-month time period to be different and better. I actually think that that idea, if you will, prediction, if you will, is probably more applicable, not to then, but to the 6 months after this. Say from November, right? November of 2021, which is when this is for, till what? March, April I'm going to give it till March. It's going to need probably all of March and April of next year, of 2022. I think a lot of things are going to change then. I think my statement that I said last year was sure maybe applied to some people who had a lot more stuff to kind of fix in some way, or just applied to some people. I think that statement is going to be more accurate for the next 6 months, where things are going to change in the 6 months after this to be new and different in a much bigger and a much more noticeable way here as we move forward. I think it's more applicable now, especially now that we finally overcome those fears and are standing more in our personal power. And especially now because we're getting the last eclipse in Sagittarius a month from now. And I think that's kind of what we need, the last eclipse in order for things to become ripe. I also want to note as well that even though I do believe that things over the course of the next 6 months from now until all of March, till April, we'll give it till April, until the new moon in Aries, the astrological new year, even though I do think things are going to finally change now more permanently to be in a new way in our life, and in a big way that's going to be more important to us, so that we're in a new chapter, I do want to note the timing. I think in my video I said a year ago, I said things were going to happen fast. I don't know if things are going to happen fast the next 6 months, because we are going to have Venus retrograde in Capricorn for most of it. For quite some time. Venus is going to enter Capricorn very soon after this new moon. It's going to stay there for a while. And then Mercury is going to go retrograde shortly after, also in a Saturn-ruled sign in Aquarius. So I don't want to make any promises about the speed of these next 6 months. I think personally they're actually going to feel like I think they might feel a little bit slower in some ways, but even if they feel slower, or really just regardless of whatever speed the next 6 months are going in, I think they're going to yield something very significant and very important and very new and different as we move forward. So I think that's just another point that I wanted to say, a long point to bring everything together, is that I said last year we were entering a new chapter in life and that things were going to change very quickly in a very big way. And I don't think that it quite happened, because I think it was a year early. I think we needed this Scorpio new moon. I think we need the last solar eclipse in Sagittarius a month from now in order to do it. And this is now going to bring major change in the next 6 months in our life, to bring noticeable change and more permanent change here, to be in this new chapter of life. And it may feel slow, but by the end of it, it's going to be good, it's going to be real, and it's going to be significant and important, especially now that we're in our power and we're not afraid to do what needs to be done. Okay, so I think that's it. Because that's it, I now want to look at the inside degree in order to just give you another opinion or another perspective on this new moon. So I'm going to bring that up on the screen. I have it here. I should note that the inside degrees were not written by me. They were written by another astrologer named Elias Lonsdale, who channeled these inside degrees from Spirit for each of the degree of the zodiac. All right, this new moon is at 12 degrees Scorpio. And that's the one I do want to read, and I do want to bring your attention to the most. However, I should note that sometimes the inside degree for the degree before or after the new moon also applies. So I'm going to leave these up on the screen in case you want to look at it. I should also note as well, before I read Scorpio 12, that I actually do think that Scorpio 11 could apply at the very beginning of this new moon. That at the very beginning of this new moon, I think some of you might not be feeling that well, especially if you've got like a lot of, like subconscious emotions and fears and insecurities that are preventing you from seeing things clearly. So I do think that Scorpio 11 definitely applies here. But I really liked 12. I guess there are even parts of 11 too. And maybe I should read part of 11. Maybe I should. This is what it says. A massive corrective action. Yeah. All right. Sorry. We're going to read this. Scorpio 11. Excuse me for that. Scorpio 11 says this: seeing the worst, feeling the worst, knowing the worst, in tune with darkness, difficulty, and melodrama, irony, skepticism, and doubt. We're in old cycles of falling for the worst. So that's what that means to me, I should say. I do feel like I explained that in the aspects, is at the beginning of this new moon, we are feeling a lot of bad things, a lot of subconscious uncomfortable emotions from old cycles and things from our past that we've fallen into. But even though we're feeling that bad, we are being closely guided by spirits and watched and protected so that we don't go so far down the rabbit hole. Not only are we being protected, but we're also receiving a massive corrective action here to reverse these terrifying patterns and to overcome them and to emerge stronger. Okay, and to regenerate and to move forward. Definitely a big thing going on here, which is what I pretty much just described. I also, too, again, did like Scorpio 12, so I'm going to read that. It says, old roots crumbling, new self emerging, historical underpinnings not very strong. The vision of what can be burns bright and clear. You've been held back a long time by questions about health and safety, viability and durability, always seeming on the way out, yet the internal image of who you are intended to become looms large and seeks to become incarnated. The battle between what can never be and what must be emerge. So what that means to me is that, yeah, at the very beginning of this new moon, we're still feeling uncomfortable, old cycles, old patterns, but then guardian angels, guiding spirits are watching over us, protecting us, and a major corrective action to overcome these fears asserts itself. And then that brings a new identity emerging, a new, more empowered sense of self, where we're not relying on these old things, where we're not worried about these old things, and where we're kicking these old questions here and letting something else new finally emerge in the way that it needs to be here. And to move forward and to step into our power, and us finally letting a new, more powerful self emerge, shows us that we are capable of the infinite. We are capable of absolutely anything is possible now that we're stronger and believe in ourselves. Okay, so that's what I want to say there. Maybe I'll just pull 13 up here as well, in case some of you want to stop the video and read that too. Okay, but I don't think I'm going to go into that at the moment. Okay, so that's what I'll do, and then I'm going to go ahead now and I'll pull your card. Some of you have asked me where this deck is from. I got this deck from MakePlayingCards.com. I think it was made by a person named Rose, and it's the Pastel Rider-Waite Tarot. I think that's the name of it. If you search on Make Playing Cards, the Pastel Rider-Waite. Because pastels are kind of my thing. I love pastels. Okay. All right. Sorry, not feeling called to one yet. Oh, here we go. All right. What's the card for this time period? The Knight of Pentacles, upright. So let me see what we've got at the bottom of the deck here. Ooh, the Ten of Pentacles, upright. What is this about? You know, I do see Scorpio, I should say, as a little bit more of a slow burn, if you will, because it is a fixed sign. And I do see Scorpio as a bit more of a deeper thinker, a more thoughtful sign, especially as Mercury moves into Scorpio very soon. And one that's a bit more strategic, if you will, about things. Not only that, but Venus is also going to move into Capricorn soon, which I do talk about in a bunch of other videos on my website. But and Capricorn, I should note, is also a tad bit slower, if you will, and a bit more serious. And I think that that's what these cards are saying here, is that we're actually at a big moment. We're at a big moment, I would say. I think here to really complete, to me, tens are about completions, to complete some old cycles and to step more into like more control over our situation. And it's saying to take your time to think very carefully and more seriously and more strategically and more clearly and more carefully about your next steps and about what you want to bring into your life from here on out, so that you can ensure that these better things that you're getting are what you really want and are really going to work here, and so that you really do escape these old cycles and don't bring the old cycle into the new stuff. So I think that's the message here. You are stepping into your power. By the end of this time, by the end, you know, as the new moon plays itself out, you are stepping into your power. You are coming into your own. We do now have an opportunity to create new and better situations for yourself, finally, more permanently, that are going to last. Take your time to really think through what you really want and how you want to do it, so that it's done right, and so that it's really important to you, and so that everything can come together in the best way, and you can fully leave these old things behind and move on more fully as you move forward. So I think that's it. Anything else that I want to mention here? Yeah, that, and I also want to mention too, because these are both positive cards, I believe, and they're both upright, is that you thinking things through slowly, clearly, strategically, seriously, and carefully, if you can do that, is really going to pay off, positively here. So that's it. I hope that was helpful for you all. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you do, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later on the next video, 2 weeks from now, lunar eclipse, full moon in Taurus. I'll see you then.